Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So I have been analyzing the moves being made around specific areas in the world, and the UK continues to shine as a big player that's getting behind the digital asset race. In fact, if we go all the way back to like 2022, 2023, that's when we start to see the UK really, shift it into overdrive. They wanted to become a crypto hub. They continue to still say that they want to become a crypto hub, but they have been falling behind a little bit. I mean, let's just be honest here. The US has been making tremendous strides around becoming a crypto hub. The growing acceptance within the US, I think, is starting to accelerate growing acceptance around the world as well. And the UK, well, they're not missing out. We have here latest eToro has launched a crypto to fiat conversions in the UK and Europe, allowing users to transfer Bitcoin and Ethereum from external wallets, convert to cash, and reinvest or withdraw directly through its platform. Now, this was on March 24th, and then quickly after, on about April 2nd, we got news that BlackRock got the green light for crypto business in the UK. The FCA has officially registered BlackRock International as a digital asset business. This isn't just talk anymore, it's real. Only one client is allowed, iShares Digital Assets AG, and the product a fully regulated Bitcoin ETP already trading across Europe. This opens the gates for UK institutions who've been stuck on the sidelines. After launching the world's biggest Bitcoin ETF in the US, BlackRock is now locking in the EU plus the UK dominance. Are we watching the start of crypto's true institutional era? Now, I think that this is a big deal. Now, it opens the door for many things within the UK for BlackRock, but at the end of the day, the number one thing that I'm actually focused on here is how the UK is getting ready. In fact, they are ready. And I do think that we're probably going to start to see a big shift around the UK market for crypto. And I think that it's already starting. I think that April was really a big driver for this, and so far it has been. I think that this is one of many announcements that we're probably going to see from the UK this month. Now, another big one was the London Policy Summit that recently happened, and this was actually with Ripple. It happened on the 1st at about 2 p.m. And we have here that we are delighted to partner with Ripple, the UK CBT, and Infin for this exclusive event next week, bringing together experts and industry leaders to explore crypto asset regulation in the UK. Thought-provoking panels with key stakeholders, networking sessions with industry leaders, discussions on UK's competitiveness in crypto regulation. Now, we have from Ripple an updated post, and this was from the 6th. Crypto assets are a global opportunity, and the UK has the chance to lead. At Ripple's UK Policy Summit last week, industry leaders explored how smart regulation, stablecoins, and tokenization can fuel growth, innovation, and global competition. Now, if we go over here to the announcement, we have Digital Asset Policy and Regulations UK Policy Summit. If we scroll down, we have the UK is at a critical juncture for its digital assets industry, with long-awaited rules for crypto assets and stablecoins expected to be published in the coming months. With this in mind, Ripple convened a UK policy summit earlier this month with industry partners to discuss how the UK can remain internationally competitive in this fast-growing sector. There is a huge opportunity for digital assets in the UK, with growing consensus that blockchain technology will transform financial markets. The UK already boasts a globally leading competitive financial services center, and with particular strengths in FX, capital markets, insurance, and professional services, the UK has all the building blocks to be a global leader in digital assets. Now, if you guys don't know, the UK is actually one of the biggest players around the FX market, which is a $7.5 trillion per day market. We've talked about it many times on the channel. However, with neighboring jurisdictions like the European Union and other global financial centers like Singapore and Hong Kong already further ahead with crypto asset regulations, there is increasing pressure on the UK to move faster with its rulebook. To explore how best the industry can support this critical work, Ripple hosted a summit in partnership with Innovate Finance, the UK's trade association for fintech, and the UK Center for Blockchain Technology, a consortium of universities. Now, number one, we have the digital asset opportunity for the UK. Now, this kind of just breaks down a few things around how the UK government could ultimately, push forward. It could actually include faster and more efficient cross-border payments, 24/7 trading and instant settlement, lower barriers to finance for SMEs, improved investment opportunities, as well as greater efficiency in corporate treasury and supply chain management. Above all, there's an opportunity for the UK to become a global hub for digital assets, attracting investment, businesses, and employment. So that's still a big focus even today. Like I said, it's been a focus for years now, but it's still coming up. So it means that the UK is ready. They want to become a crypto hub. Every single nation out there wants to become a crypto hub. Digital assets are one of the most cost-effective and direct routes to unlocking economic growth, and the key lies in the legal and regulatory frameworks. Digital asset regulation plays a critical role as it increases confidence in the technology, particularly for institutional or regulated actors who made up or make up much of the financial services industry. Regulation has also a big impact of raising the bar for firms operating in the sector, reducing the likelihood of consumer harm. Three key themes from the UK Policy Summit. Number one, time is of essence for the UK to show that it is open for business. The UK now has a second mover advantage as it can learn from the experiences of other jurisdictions and introduce a regulatory regime that supports the benefits of digital assets as well as mitigating the risk. This means proportionate, risk sensitive, and outcomes focused digital asset regulation, which supports innovation. However, the window of opportunity is narrowing, and one key theme that emerged from industry participants is the need to provide regulatory clarity with greater pace and urgency. So now we have an urgent view on regulatory clarity. Stablecoins are critical to the growth of digital asset markets. Now, this is what I'm really kind of focused on here because we know that there's RLUSD, but there's no RLGBP. Okay, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. Stablecoins are a critical enabler of the digital asset ecosystem, and use cases are evolving as well as being used as on and off ramps to crypto asset markets. They are increasingly utilized for trading and settling transactions in digital assets, as well as for cross-border payments. During the summit, panelists discussed the need for a UK regulatory regime that is proportionate to the risk and it encourages the adoption of this beneficial innovation. And for the UK to successfully build a digital asset hub, it should ensure that a variety of stablecoins can be used in the UK, including those issued overseas. Now, on top of that, we have tokenization. Tokenization is likely to transform financial markets, and digital asset policymakers need to be bold in supporting adoption. The UK Finance has estimated that digital assets could represent as much as 10% of global capital markets by 2030, equivalent to a value of 4 to 5 trillion. It could lead to large efficiencies, for example, in reporting, clearing, settlement, and collateral management, which have already been demonstrated in pilots around the world. Adoption needs focused commitment from the UK government and regulators to remove the barriers to adoption. Many of these barriers are legal and regulatory in nature. Panelists reflected that progress so far has been fairly piecemeal, and a bold, ambitious, and comprehensive approach is needed. And that's why these summits are so important, because we start to see that accelerated push on this. Ripple has a significant footprint in the UK. Obviously, they do. You know, if we go all the way back to like 2016, Santander became the first UK bank to use Ripple for cross-border payments. On top of that, Modular and Ripple announced a strategic partnership to enable seamless payments in the UK and Europe back in February of 2022. On top of that, more recently, back in June of 2024, Ripple partnered up with Junction to enhance UK and EU cross-border payments. So if we go back over here, we do have that, they have a large regional office hub in London, as well as a long-standing support for the UK developer ecosystem and talent pipeline via support for the XRP Ledger Grants Program and the University Blockchain Research Initiative. The UK Policy Summit highlighted the opportunity for the UK to compete internationally as a digital asset hub, powering the government's growth and competitiveness agenda and bringing tangible benefits to the UK firms and consumers. However, this will require greater pace and progress on the crypto asset and stablecoin regulatory regime and other barriers to adoption of digital assets. We look forward to collaborating with the industry, regulators, and digital asset policymakers to support this vital work. So obviously we know that Ripple is a big name in the UK, and we also know that, there's been so many great initiatives around the UK with Ripple. All of these partnerships that I mentioned, these are just 3 of many, okay? But we think about what it really means to become a massive crypto hub. Stablecoins are a huge focus here. In fact, they are so big that it was number 2 on this list, outside of regulatory discussions. When we think about stablecoins, we know that the Digital Pound Foundation recently made a post, and this goes back to April 4th. The rise of GBP stablecoins are transforming digital payments, offering efficiency, speed, and trust in a rapidly evolving landscape. GreenPage Co. explores what this means for the UK's financial ecosystem and how stablecoins can support innovation and resilience. This blog, based on a recent interview between Andrew McKenzie, founder of Agent Finance, and Sean Kiernan, hope that I'm saying that name correctly, CEO of GreenPage, for award-winning podcast The Gauge, discuss why a digital pound stablecoin is needed and what the demand drivers are for introducing a GBP stablecoin in the UK. Now, when we think about that, okay, this is coming from the Digital Pound Foundation on April 4th of this year. If we go back to 2024, we know that Circle said that they expect the UK to introduce stablecoin laws within months, not years. And this does make sense with Mika, but it also makes sense now that we have at this Digital Asset Summit that they need to have some urgency here and with greater pace to bring regulatory clarity to the UK for digital assets. I do think that stablecoins get adopted and regulated first, very similar to what's happening in the US right now. But what's even crazier about all of this is we go back to December 12th when the Digital Pound Foundation quoted Brad Garlinghouse when they did announce RLUSD. RLGBP has a nice ring to it. And ever since I cannot get this out of my head, and even building upon this, right, Mr. Man XRP back in March quoted it and said the UK's FCA is reviewing crypto trading, lending, staking, and risk management rules. Next, it will finalize conduct standards and compliance requirements. By 2026, full regulations take effect. Meanwhile, speculation is growing about RLGBP potentially linking Ripple to the UK's digital pound initiative. Now, here we actually have the FCA crypto roadmap. This is quarter 1, quarter 2 of 2025. We are out of quarter 1. We're now in quarter 2. But we have a lot of those major pushes in terms of like publications around crypto assets that will be covered in terms of like, actual full regulations. It's already becoming a reality. And by roughly 2026, there should be full regulations in place building upon all of this. But we know that stablecoins started to initially be focused on back in 2023. We know stablecoins are at like the forefront of regulations, but I just feel like it's very obvious right now that Ripple is going to have a big hand to play in a UK stablecoin. I do think that RLGBP would be absolutely massive, and I do think that it would open the door of opportunity for Ripple to take a big piece of the UK market. But what's even more bullish about this is how much the UK holds in terms of dominance around the FX market. The last time I read up on it, it was like 30% or so of the FX market. That might have dropped a little bit. But regardless, we know how big the UK market is. It's massive. We also know that Ripple has been fully focused on the UK market for years. It's not just a new thing. They joined the Digital Pound Foundation back in like 2021. There was a lot of posts around like 2022, 2023 about Ripple really kind of taking a lead in the UK. Not to mention that I already did a full post. This goes back about almost 2 years ago now, where I did a complete breakdown of all of the connections that Ripple does have to the Bank of England and also the UK. I think that at this point in time, with everything that's happening here, we have Ripple being a part of this massive summit. We know that Ripple has been in the UK, like I said, for years now. But on top of that, we know that RLUSD just launched back in December. And so far, it's been a huge success for Ripple. We look at the Digital Pound Foundation putting a spotlight on GBP stablecoins, and now we're starting to hear talks about how big a GBP stablecoin would be for the UK. At the same exact time that just a few months ago, the Digital Pound Foundation did make this post. We also know that a few of the additional, stable coins like RL Euro, for an example, will most likely become a reality as well. But I do think that if we saw an RL GBP stablecoin get announced this year, it would be a huge move on Ripple's end. We don't know if this is going to happen, but it would make sense, especially the fact that, the Digital Pound Foundation has become a huge player around the UK market, around, getting the word out there around digital assets and how big it could be for the UK government and the financial system within the UK. And Ripple being a part of this in a huge way definitely does put a spotlight on what Ripple can offer, what they can do. And I think that, Ripple being a part of these major discussions with policymakers and even, educational players as well, I think that that's a huge deal. So we'll have to watch, wait, and see what happens here. But I do think that this is, I think that the UK is ready. I think that they are prepared to go all in on crypto, very similar to like how the US is doing it right now. We know the UAE has been moving pretty quick on it, Singapore, Hong Kong, you name it. Right now, the entire digital asset race has been on for a while now. but it's only accelerating with every single move that the US makes. So I love to see this. It's very exciting to see. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.